Okay, here's the finishing on the sword jet. This piece here, if you want, I can make copies of or send you the, what I'll do is I'll send you a diagram of how to cut this piece out, because the actual nacelle fits right in here. It sets right up inside this piece here. Now, this is my wing for my sword jet. As you can see, I have taped on it my LED lights for nighttime flying. The set of blue on the top, and I had to disconnect them because I am modified, because of the weight. I now have a 70mm ducted fan on there with that same setup, and you can see that it fits in between the wings. There's the bottom half, which is my yellow strips of LEDs, and that's basically how it fits together. The 70mm goes the same way, and if you notice, this the nacelle on this has an odd look to it. It's got a bump on this side. That's because this is the presidential jet nacelle is a little bit longer, and it also comes for left and right sides because there's two on the jet. And you can buy this nacelle, and it fits the 60mm setup, the 66mm setup from Hobby Lobby perfectly. But what I did is I put the 70mm in here, cut the extra piece that was on the bottom to fit on the wing of the fuselage on the back part of the presidential jet, and used that to fill in the hole, the space up here, that the rest of it, there was an empty spot in here, and I taped it over. And now this is a 70mm because I got so much batteries and stuff in mine, it's way too heavy for the 66. This gives me all kinds of power with the same setup. Okay, this is the Vista, the main fuselage. I have on the front here, I have this taped on. This is where the prop went. You can see where the motor was. This is my video battery that tucks up in underneath. This part here, this tucks up underneath. And then the main battery for the power is right in here underneath the fuselage. I have these 4 AA batteries in there just for weight to make up the difference for the camera. The camera, which is a KX191, fits right where that hole is, right here that's taped over. That goes on there, and that's my camera setup. Now, I had originally set it up with a servo that went into here and mounted inside here, but I had to take that out because I needed the batteries up front. Now, you could probably sneak a servo in there if you raise that up a little bit to give you a pan servo. Tilt, I don't know, you could put it up on top if you really wanted to. I was trying to keep everything lower. It just makes it a lot easier to put a micro servo in there. And it lets it support and keeps it out of the wind as well. I had a lot of trouble with it bouncing around. Some of the new setups don't bounce around as much. I just wanted to get my FPV set up more than anything else. The cover, when you see the covers on here, this has lug nuts in it for weight. This was all needed because of the weight of the motor. This is where the motor would normally go. This is the motor, which weighs a ton, and now isn't there anymore because of the EDF unit. Now, toward the center part where all the extra stuff is, here's the ESC that I'm using. In here you can see all the video equipment and the servos. And this right here is for my lighting assembly. It's an IDE drive pin. I can just plug the pins in and go. Also on this are two LED white lights up front and one LED red light right there underneath the wing in the back, so orientation for front to back. Makes it real simple. The servo tray, I didn't like the way they had them. I didn't like the way they had it glued in, so I made it so it's screwed fast. That way I can put different servos in and also adjust them to make sure they're okay. Easier to take out, too, when you're trying to disassemble if you get a stripped servo or whatever. Also, my camera is 12 volts, and my transmitter, which is taped fast right here on the back. This is the best way I thought to put it. I get the best signal that way. I had it up front on the other side here in some of the videos of mine, and it just seemed that it was blocking all the time. I wasn't getting a good enough signal, so I put it back there. It doesn't weigh that much. so it doesn't hurt the balance that much. But the problem is this is a 500, and the TX the transmitter is 5 volts, so I had to put a 5 volt regulator on the side. What I used is a Radio Shack 5 volt regulator from Radio Shack, and it's real simple to wire in. The schematic's right on the back, the whole wiring code. It's 12 volts in, 5 volts out with ground. And then it gets warm, quite warm. To do that, I put a heat sink on it, and it mounts right to the outside with a bolt. It works perfect. It doesn't get that hot. Warm to the touch, that's about it. This is the video battery. Now the biggest hassle with batteries for this particular plane is size. You can use the Elite battery setup, which works really nice. It's my Thunder Power. I used this a while, and it went down on me too low, and it's no good. It's going to get thrown out. This one here was cheaper and gives me 1300 milliamps, which is really nice. It's by Turniggy, and it's a 30C, which is nice. It gives you a better discharge rate. I can use it for other things, but it's simple to use, and I had to change the connector on it because that's how I have it set up in here. If you look inside here, you'll see that the connector is set up here, and it goes back, and that goes through to here, and on the bottom it goes through to a switch right here that's mounted to the side. This switch is how I turn the video system on and off. And then at the same time, this is the plug that plugs the battery in. That energizes your whole system. This is the OSD Pro, if you can see it in there. The OSD's in there, along with an altimeter. The altimeter is hooked up to this side through a port on the side that's a refueling port. And it works perfect. It's in backwards, actually, the way it's supposed to be, but it works perfect to put the tubing in, the yellow tubing that's in there right here. You can see the yellow tubing right here in the bottom. That's the port that goes over for the altimeter, and it just sits in the side, works great. Now, I have an airspeed indicator, which I haven't hooked up yet. That'll hook into that, onto the end of the wing, which I haven't done yet. That's my project this winter. But basically, that's the setup, and you can see where the battery, this is normally where the battery would go. The nickel metal hydrides fit in here perfectly when you have the prop on the front. But the weight you need up front, so everything gets packed in there, gives you plenty of room to pack this stuff in. It works really nice. It's a really nice setup. Basically, that's the way it is. And if you have any questions or comments, holler, rate the video.